Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today I'm going to be talking about something very serious that happened to me last year. So if I get emotional or start crying, then I'm sorry. It's just that it's so hard to talk about, as it was like very painful and upsetting for not only me but for my family also. I'm going to be talking today about last year when I had 3 heart attacks. At the end of the video, some friends and family are also going to be talking about how they felt about my experience last year as well. And let's get into it. So last year, September, beginning of September, I started to get these mild chest pains. Now, as I had been in hospital for 6 or 7 months the previous year, I was not looking to go back to hospital again because things were looking like they were on the up for me. I'd just come back from a holiday in Dubai in August with my fiance. I'd returned to work, so things were looking good again for me. So I was thinking, I was happy again. And I was thinking, please, not another setback. I can't do it anymore. Like, after all I've been through, I just need my life to be simple for a while, for a change. So I firmed it. I didn't even say nothing to anyone at first. Because they weren't too bad. So I thought, I'll be all right. And then I went on this residential trip, kidney residential trip that I go on every year. And it's only when I got back from there near the end of September is when the pain started to get worse. So I mentioned it to my mum, fiance, and obviously at first they wanted me to go to hospital straight away, but I said to them, please, I can't go through no more time in hospital. So I said, let me see how it goes over the next 4 or 5 days, and then we'll take it from there and see if I need to go to hospital or not. But then it came to a Sunday. I went to watch my little brothers play football, and after the match, the pain was, it was excruciating. So my dad, he took me to the hospital. I met my fiance, and I went to the cardiac ward, so they could obviously see what the problem was. Hopefully, maybe diagnose me with something and treat me. And when they did, I had something called myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart. So I stayed on the cardiac ward for 4 or 5 days. So obviously they monitored me, and obviously when they thought I was ready to go home, they were going to discharge me. But because I had pre-existing kidney issues, from their point of view, they weren't happy for me to go home. So I had to go to one of the wards where they could monitor me and see obviously how my kidney was doing, as well as me continuing the treatment for the myocarditis they thought I had. Now, I was there for about a week, and then it came to my brother's birthday on the 1st of October. And I wanted to spend the day with them. So I asked if I was allowed, and they gave me a day release. So I was able to spend the day with my brothers, providing I came back to the hospital in the evening. So I went to spend the day with my brothers, and so I went back to the hospital. And then 2 days later, I was discharged, but one of the consultants, he said to me, me and my mum, you are at risk of a 30-day heart attack. But he still allowed me and my mum to go home, even though he said to me I was at risk, 30-day risk of a heart attack. Now, at this moment in time, I've got lawyers, and I'm in a court battle to try and either get some compensation or have this consultant struck off, because for me, he's the reason why I had this heart attack. If he had done his job properly and obviously tried to find out what the problem was, instead of just sending me home, then this wouldn't have happened to me. So I'm in the process of sorting that out right now. So like I said, I was allowed to go home on the Friday. It was my mum's birthday, so I went to my mum, spent the day with her, then went home. The following day, it's supposed to be my little twin brother's 13th surprise birthday party, which we had been planning for a while. So I was looking forward to that. But the morning of their party is when disaster struck. I went to the toilet, was getting back into bed, and I collapsed on the floor and I was unconscious. I'm so lucky my fiance was with me, because if she wasn't, I would have died, because I would have choked on my own vomit. She was there, she cleared my airways, made sure I was all right, tried to clean me up a bit. But then she had to, because I live in a flat, she went outside to try and get some help from one of the neighbours. She started screaming because obviously she was scared because my eyes started rolling back. So she was obviously panicking and stressed, but no one came. She eventually rang my mum. My mum and my gran came, and then she rang the ambulance, and they also came. Before the ambulance did arrive, I gained consciousness, and because I had sick all over me and I was dirty, my mum ran a bath and I was able to get in the bath. But just before the ambulance came, I'm lucky that I was able to walk downstairs because the stretcher wouldn't fit upstairs because I live on the top floor of the flat. So I'm lucky that I was able to walk downstairs and get in the ambulance where I was taken to Eden Hospital, which is because it's my closest hospital, they took me there. So obviously I get to Eden Hospital now, they're monitoring me. But this is when it gets even worse now. I was fine, I was conscious, but I'm sorry. Then, yeah, I was fine. I was responsive, talking to my friends and family. And then there's one day, obviously like I said, I'm only going to talk about things I actually remember, or things that my family and friends have told me, because obviously I don't remember. My mind is a bit hazy from all of it. I don't remember every little bit that happened. But from what I was told, I was fine. There was no one with me. It was a morning, and I think the hospital must have called. I think they called my mum, as she's my next of kin, and I've had a heart attack. They found out I've got a clot in my heart, and that's why I've had a heart attack. So they've called my mum now. I think my mum was driving, and she said she had to stop the car. She called my gran and my aunt, and then my gran called my fiance, let her know she had to leave work. My mum and gran and aunt, they got down to the hospital as quick as they could. Then my fiance had to leave work, make her way down. And obviously they were all crying and distraught because I'm 28 years old. I shouldn't be having a heart attack. Like, no one expected it. So it was hard. But and then when it looked like I was coming round. No, sorry. Then after having a heart attack, I was in an induced coma for 14 days. Obviously, during this, friends and family will come to see me, praying for me, holding my hand, trying to talk to me. But obviously, I'm knocked out, so I'm not responsive. But then came a day where they looked like they were going to bring me round, and my fiance was with me. He said it looked like I was opening my eyes, but they started rolling back again. And then they told her to get out of the room because I was having another heart attack. So she was rushed out the room. My gran was in the waiting room. She told my gran, obviously them two collapsed to the floor, crying their eyes out. They have to call my mum and my aunt, let them know I've had a second heart attack. And then I eventually went on to have a third heart attack. Now this is when they told, when I had the third heart attack, they told my family that my organs were shutting down and it wasn't looking like I was going to make it, that I was going to die. So you can imagine my family, they were distraught. That's putting it lightly. So it's looking like it was going to be the end for me because they said my organs are shutting down. There's not much more they can do for me. They're not going to give up on me, but it's not looking good right now. So also my family are praying, hoping, wishing that I come round again. And then somehow I pulled through. So I got to thank God every day that I'm still here because it could have been so different. I pulled through. And yeah, I woke up and obviously all my family and friends were happy. My fiance was happy. And the first thing I asked for was my mum and fiance when they brought me around. And yeah, man, that was the worst time of my life. even though I don't remember all of it because of being obviously in induced coma. I don't remember too much of it, but obviously from friends and family and my fiance's point of view, they had to see me lying there, and you don't wish that on your worst enemy, them to be lying there in a hospital bed in a coma, not knowing if they're going to wake up or not knowing if that was the last time you ever got to speak to them or see their face again. What I would say to people is, if you do have any chest pains, don't do what I done and leave it weeks on end. Go and get checked out of the hospital just to be safe, because I wish I had done that at the beginning, because I could have avoided it if I had gone straight when I had the chest pains and not left it a few weeks. Who knows what could have happened. But that's what I say. I'm thankful to all my friends and family and anyone that was with me on that journey. I'm on the mend now, I'm doing better, and I just hope that I never have to experience anything like that again. Thank you for watching my video. Bye.
Hi, I'm Miles. I'm a good friend of Kyrie's. We go all the way back to our high school days. I've been with Kyrie for a number of his different health experiences, so I'm going to share with you my perspective. Cool. So let's rewind to 2009. That's when Kyrie was first diagnosed with lupus. At that time, we weren't really seeing each other too often. I was away in Ealing at college. Kyrie was up in Norfolk doing his own studies as well. So at that time, I guess for most people, you start making different friends and I guess different groups. So I hadn't seen Kyrie too much, but we always stayed in touch and always checked in with each other. And I think it was approaching summertime. As most people know, in London, teenager, summertime is best time of the year. Always something to do, parties, meals, shopping, days out, evenings out. And I used to reach out to Kyrie nearly every other week just to see if he's up for going out. Every time he would just reply, no, he's busy. No, he's got something to do. No, he can't make it. So it got to the point where I started questioning, does he actually want to be friends anymore? Or has he met new people? Because I know he had some different friends. So I thought, you know what, he just probably doesn't want to speak anymore. I was like, what's going on? And then got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to message him one more time. If he doesn't reach out, reply, that's it. So luckily, messaged him, he replied, he said, okay, I'll come. I think in his other video, explains that his mum forced him to come. So he came over to mine, caught up, watched the movie, spoke, chilled, didn't bring up his issue, he didn't explain that he had lupus. We just caught up as I guess young guys do. It wasn't until I think a few months after when he actually explained what was wrong with him. And then unfortunately, I think a year and a bit after that was when Kyrie had to have his transplant. He had to leave uni. And I remember going to see him in hospital after he's had the transplant, and just, I'll never forget seeing him, laid up in bed with tubes and wires attached to him. Just kind of hit home that even though you're a young guy, you can become ill, and you're not invincible, and health issues do affect young people, and it did kind of shake me up a little bit to see that. But thankfully, Kyrie recovered, he got better, that was good news. And then unfortunately, I think it was about 4 or 5 years after that, so we're going into I think 2017, when 2018, sorry, when Kyrie became ill again. That year he was the best man for my wedding. We'd been out suit shopping, and that's when he explained that he started to feel some pain in his body. I thought maybe it's just something that he'll just sleep off, but that whole week we normally go gym together, and every day I message him. Each day he was saying he can't make it, so I was like, okay, this is maybe something a bit more serious. And then I think towards the end of that week he messaged me saying that he's in hospital, which was super surprising. I remember going over to see him in hospital, and he was with his mum, his fiance Carice, and they were saying that the doctors don't know what's wrong, and Kyrie was just, you could tell he was in pain. Even though he was trying to smile and talk, you could tell that something wasn't right. And fortunately, that led to a whole summer of illnesses for Kyrie. Fortunately, he wasn't able to attend my wedding, which in the grand scheme of things is not important at all in considering his health. But I know, Kyrie was disappointed, so was I, and it's just something that's super frustrating when health just puts your life on hold and puts your life on pause. And there's just nothing you can do to, you feel helpless at that point. But we were super happy when after, I think several months in hospital, Kyrie was able to come home and start getting his health back. And we thought, okay, now's the time when his life can start again and he'll be good from here. But sadly, last October, I remember getting a message from Kyrie's fiance, Carice, that he just had a heart attack. Never forget seeing that message. I had to read it about 3 or 4 times just to make sure I'm actually seeing the right thing. And I couldn't believe it. You just don't associate heart attack, something that's so severe, with something that your friend could have. I remember going to hospital next day to see him, and his family were really shaken up and worried, whereas normally I would see them and then normally be quite optimistic and in good spirits. See that everybody was really worried. I remember, I think the day after or the day after that, I got a call from Kyrie's mum saying that the doctors are saying that it's not looking hopeful. I think that evening Kyrie had 2 other heart attacks while in a coma. Just remember hanging up the phone and just crying. I'm a big man, 29 years old. I think it's the first time I've cried in about 10 or 12 years. I couldn't help it. Like when you realize the reality that your friend may not survive, it's just something that I don't wish on anybody to experience. But thankfully, with prayer and with the care from the NHS, Kyrie was able to recover. I remember seeing him, I think a few weeks after he came out of hospital. I went over to see him with friend Curtis, and I remember, I think it was either before we saw him or after, we just were saying like how much we admire him and how strong he is. The fact that after everything he's gone through, he's still happy, still smiling, still the same old Kyrie. And we just said, if that was us, we just don't know how we'll be in a complete mess. I'm sure Kyrie has had his dark days and had asked like why him and why he has to go through this. But when you see Kyrie, he's just the same old self, just always cheerful, always happy, always in a good mood, except when he's losing FIFA. But super admire Kyrie. He's an amazing person. He's so strong at what he's gone through. So all I can say is, Kyrie, I'm super thankful that your health is good now, and I just wish you the very best in the future, always. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Kyrie's mum. 2019, Kyrie, Kyrie is a soldier. It's every parent's worst nightmare to see your child even have a cold, have a cough. You feel it for them. Now, I had to watch my son go through what he went through, and previously he went through stuff as well. So I've been watching Kyrie go through stuff since he was 18, really. But last year was, I thought it was it. He's my eldest son, and no one wants to lose any of their children. That's not how it's supposed to be. But Kyrie being Kyrie, as everybody knows, he's a fighter. He's a miserable sod at times, but gosh, Kyrie's an amazing, amazing person. The hurt and the pain that we all went through last year was just like unbelievable. No one ever wants to see their child in intensive care going through what he went through. And somehow Kyrie came out of it, because he wasn't ready to go anywhere, and the good Lord wasn't ready to have him. And I said I weren't going to cry. It was the worst. I've never ever felt pain as much as I did last year, and I'm just so thankful that Kyrie's here with us today. Such an amazing, inspirational young man. He's got 4 younger siblings, and they so look up to him. He is their everything. He's my everything, along with the rest. And I will protect him as long as I can. Kyrie could be 50 and Mummy will still be around. Kyrie can call me now and say, Mum, I need this. Whew, Mummy's there. Kyrie Hopkins-Jones, an inspirational person who's loved so much by all his family, and he's touched so many hearts. And it's amazing how such a young person can have so much strength. Thank you guys for listening. Take care. Bye.
My name's Curtis, and I just wanted to say a few words about my experience of my friend Kyrie being in hospital last year. So when I got the news that he had been admitted to hospital, straight away I was concerned, but in the back of my mind, I was quite confident that it wouldn't be anything too serious, because he has been to hospital in the past with, certain health issues that he's had, but he's always made a great recovery. So in the back of my mind, I thought, this would happen again. It wasn't really until I went to visit him where I realized how severe the situation was, because when I went to visit him, on each occasion that I visited him, he was unresponsive. And there were times where the doctor's reports weren't positive and they weren't sure what the outcome would be. So I was getting really worried. But one thing that I realized was, no matter how bad things seemed to be at the time, Kyrie's family, who are all just they're an amazing family. They were always positive. No matter how bad things got, they always had the right mindset. They would say, he's going to be okay. He's going to get through this. And they were right, because he did get through it. He's made an absolutely amazing recovery. It's 2020 now. It was only a few months ago when he was in hospital, and nobody knew if he was what would happen to him. And now he's made a complete recovery, and it's just so amazing. And I'm just so grateful that he is the fighter that he is. But my advice to anyone that has a friend or family member that's ill and does end up in hospital would just be to show them support, because that support goes a long way. Even though you might feel like you can't help the person, just being there for them is the best thing you can do. Because when someone feels like they might not be able to go on, if they know they've got people around them that want the best for them and want them to recover, that may help them to continue to fight. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, I'm Kyrie's stepdad. Just a little word. Obviously Kyrie's asked me to just give a little brief explanation of, what we went through as a family. Wow, what can I say? Something that I wouldn't wish on anyone, to see your child there in a situation of life or death situation, and it's something that I definitely wouldn't dream for anyone, even my worstest enemy, to go through. But as Kyrie, as he is, this young man is an inspiration to everyone, seriously. He is my ultimate superhero. When we're talking about superheroes and, Marvel movies and things like that, Kyrie, to see what Kyrie's gone through in the last 10 years of his life, I don't even think myself could have coped with it, and to see how strong he is and, resilient, determined, and having that family unit around him, it's just unbelievable. It's just really is unbelievable. And he really, really is a special person in my life and in all our lives. I just think that he is such a big inspiration for other people out there. If they were to really listen to Kyrie's story and other individuals who are going through their own issues, whatever problems, they're going through, hearing Kyrie's story, wow, it actually inspires me. It inspires me in my everyday sometimes, because when I'm going through my everyday life and work and other things, sometimes you think, why am I worrying about stuff? And then I look at Kai and I think to myself, wow, You know, so again, just a little word. I'm not very good at things like this, you know, talking on social media to the public, but I just had to do it. Obviously, it's for my son.
My name's Tara Atkins Jones, and today I'm going to be telling you how I felt when my big brother Kyrie Atkins Jones was in hospital. At first, at the starting, I didn't really know what was happening properly with him. I didn't know like the illness and stuff because I had never been to the hospital at that time. But there was one particular day where I was staying at my nan's that day, and I was staying there because all my family had gone to the hospital to go see him. And then later on in the night, when I was going to sleep, my other big brother came from the hospital to tell us that Kyrie was gonna lose his life, potentially, maybe. And then he just started crying out. So me and my other brother, we was also bursting out with tears, as we didn't know what was happening for sure, but I had an idea what was going on now. So yeah, we started breaking down and we started crying as well, because it was an emotional time. It was hard for us to see, as we didn't really know what was going on as well. And yeah, my other brother was crying so much that it made us even cry. And it was kind of an emotional time for us. So yeah. So later on, a couple of days after that incident happened, me and my brother had gone down to the hospital and we'd gone to see Kai. And at first we were kind of scared. And then my other brother, he went with my granddad and my cousin, as I was too scared to go, so I went later on. And they came out crying, and I felt like I needed to go because they had gone, so I felt like I needed to experience what everyone was talking about. So I done that, and yeah, I felt very emotional, sad, uneasy, uncomfortable, as I didn't really know what to say because he was in a coma for at least 2 weeks. So I was kind of like, because I'm used to seeing Kyrie as just a normal person and in a normal state, it's kind of hard for me to see him in that way. So a couple of days after, my mum had told us that he had woken up and he had actually called us that day, me and my brother, and spoke to us, and we was actually very relieved, and we was like so happy that we was even jumping off the stairs. We was just so relieved that our brother's awake, and hopefully he's not gonna pass away anytime soon. So yeah, that's my story of Kyrie Hopkins Jones. Hope you enjoyed.
I'm Tajon Hopkins Jones, Kyrie's brother, and I'm going to talk about how I felt during the few months Kyrie was in hospital in 2019. So the day it really hit, and the day I found out properly about what's happening, was when my other brother came in the room. I was at my grand's house. He came back from the hospital, and he came in crying. And he woke us up and he was just crying and telling us Kyrie's leaving us and stuff like that. And he just broke down so many times. And of course, because of what he was telling me and my other brother also broke down as well. Because what he was telling us was not nice. And he was basically saying that Kyrie's dying. So we're just thinking of memories of him that we've had. And also, what's his name? Yeah, after the next day, we went down to the hospital. And at first, I was really convinced that I want to see him. And when I got there and saw like everyone there crying and stuff, I just couldn't. Like I thought that I wouldn't go in, and I was quite scared because I didn't know if it was the last time I was gonna see him. I didn't know what it was gonna look like. So yeah. Then after like a few hours, I finally convinced myself to go in with my granddad and my cousin. So we went in. As soon as we got in, he started crying. We didn't know what to say to him really because he was in a coma, so we didn't know what to say. We were so nervous and scared. And then yeah, we went there like every other day. Me and my brother used to go there after school in the bus. And yeah, that was probably the worst month of my life because we thought our brother was gonna die, our oldest brother. It was so distraught. Yeah.
When I got the phone call that Kyrie was in the ICU, I was heartbroken. Just thinking about one of my closest friends that I look at as a brother was in hospital fighting for his life. I couldn't even imagine what his family was going through at the time. There's only a couple of days before that, me and him was chatting away, talking about life as usual, and then next minute I get a call that he's in ICU. I had no idea what happened to him at the time, All I knew, got the call, I was there in tears. Didn't know what to think, what to do. I just wanted to be in London to be there for him, but I'm miles away at the same time. I had things going on myself, but I tried my best to get there and be there for him as much as I could. I was praying every day for him, praying there for his family, the rest of us friends that was there at the hospital with him, talking to him, just hoping he pulled through it all, which, as a soldier Kyrie is, he did. He always finds a way to beat the odds, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful he's still here with us. Not many people understand the struggles and the fights that we have to go through, especially Kyrie himself, and I'm glad he's here with us today and for many more years.
I'm Awa. I am Kyrie's friend. I was supposed to do this video with my sister, but whatever. I'm here to talk about the experience of Kyrie when he was in a coma, and how it was from my point of view, seeing my friend like that. Firstly, I didn't believe that my friend was in a coma, and people are saying that he's not gonna make it. And as soon as I heard this, news, I went straight to my sister, telling her that our friend, and went straight to the hospital. And we came to the hospital separately, so I went straight into his room, and not knowing that I was going to be by myself, I thought others would be there, but it was the ICU, so everyone, only 2 people could go in at a time. And then it hit me really big time when I saw my friend like that, just lying there. I know he was in terms he was sleeping, but the actual having to process the fact that my friend might pass away, I felt dizzy. I was just like, I don't know what to do. But most definitely, I stayed until my sister came, and we went back in together. Then we stayed a bit longer, and I just met Kyrie's family, and then when we went back home to process it, that night is when I truly processed the fact that one of my good friends might not come back. But as much as people can say that, that person might not make it, or there's this type of news or the other, it's all about the person. And I believed in Kyrie from that moment that he would beat the odds of what the doctors said that's going to happen, and he definitely did. And even more than that, that wasn't the first time my friend went through something like that. So when it comes to going through some tough times, having kidney failure, Kyrie's definitely inspiration. So I have the utmost respect for him, and I'm very glad to have him as a friend.
Hi everyone, my name's Carice. I'm Kyrie's fiance. I'm just going to give my opinion on what happened last year. I remember it was a Tuesday morning, and his nan called me literally 45 minutes into me being at work, and she never calls me unless there's something wrong. I left my desk and took the call, and she basically said that I need to leave work now because Kyrie's had a heart attack. I literally froze on the spot. I didn't know what to think. I had to then go back into the office and let my manager know that I need to leave because my partner's really unwell. So I left and made my way to the hospital, which seemed like the longest journey ever. And when I eventually arrived, Kyrie's mum, aunt and nan were already there waiting, but we were unable to see him. And yeah, just last year was a really difficult time for us and Kyrie, despite him being in a coma for just over 2 weeks. It was awful because you'd go and see him and he would just be there in the bed, unresponsive, just sleeping. And anyone that knows Kai knows that he can talk. So going into the room to see him and he's just silent and he's just hooked up to every machine possible, it was a hard experience for us all, but thankfully he's still here. His health is going well, and hopefully it continues. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Hi, I'm Kyrie's oldest little brother. I'm going to tell you how I felt while he was in hospital. I think it was the worst time in my life, to be honest. I've seen Kyrie go through a lot over the last 10 years, and this time I think it was the worst time, as the doctors told us that he had not long left. And when I heard that, it actually broke me. It broke me in pieces, and especially as I had to tell my little brothers and sister the news, and I wasn't sure how they was going to take it. They took it very well, considering, and they were very brave, and Kyrie just pushed on and he made us all proud and came out the other side stronger. So yeah, Kyrie's my inspiration for life, and I use him as motivation for me in my life whenever things are going bad. I use him to push myself, to make myself feel if he can do it, I can do anything.
My name is Shana and I'm Kyrie's sister. When my mum told me that Kyrie was sick, I was very sad and I cried. So now I'm very happy that he's well. Bye.